Welcome back to the CD&Sam podcast. It's weird me saying it because my beloved co-host Sam is tending to some personal matters. But in Sam's replacement, I have the beloved Barack. Brock, how we doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are we doing today? Sam, you were dearly missed. This is a one-time thing, by the way. This is not a done deal. Sam had things to do.
Yeah. Sam naturally is a very busy man. And I think next episode we're planning on having another special guest that has not been on the podcast yet. Um, so you must stay tuned to see who that is. Um, but me and Brock are going to be doing our fantasy, not really sleepers, just guys we like that aren't like in kind of the first tier. And then
hmm
after that, we're going to show you guys our fantasy teams. And honestly, I don't really know how I feel about my team, and Brock has expressed doubt about his. But
Yeah. Every day I look at it, I don't know, something about it. It's, my team's not that bad, but like every time I look at it, I'm like, what if he's not good? What if he's a bust?
yeah.
But
And before we went on air, I was telling Brock, I was like, dude, I don't have a backup running back. So I just went and picked up Deontay Foreman and dropped Tim Patrick. We're playing in a 14-man league, by the way. So that's why these players are on our team.
yes,
Um, anyway, let's get
Ken,
into it. What's that?
Kendra Miller is my running back three for those who.
Yeah, exactly. And have
Yeah,
you seen what Dennis Allen has said about Kendra?
not good things coming out of
Yeah,
camp.
just let's just
He
put it
might
like
he,
that.
he
Not
might
good
not even
things.
make the team, and he's on my fantasy team.
Yikes. Big time yikes. All right. So let's jump in to these. We each wrote down three players. We might not get to all three just in case we have the same people. But we're gonna start with the running backs. And my first running back I do like is Najee Harris.
I like that.
I
I
know
like
you
that.
have him.
I like that.
I thought thing is I thought Najee Harris was like terrible last year, but when I looked at the stats, he had over 1,000 rushing yards.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was like 1,028. And Jalen Warren just got hurt. He's going to be out for at least the first couple weeks. So, I mean, the Steelers always run Najee into the ground. He always gets a ton of work. But
Oh,
yeah, I mean,
wow.
I think with Jalen Warren being hurt, Najee should be pretty good for you, Brock.
Dude, he had less touches and more yards in 2023 and 2022, and more touchdowns.
Really?
Jesus, Najee had a quiet little good season last year.
A calmless season?
Almost season.
Also, shout out Pacheco. I'm wearing the shirt. Anyway, Brock, who's your guy?
We start with number one or number three? Where'd you start? I forgot. I just
I
picked
started
one.
with my number one, but
Okay, so my number one, shout out Grant Sperber. It's Tajay Spears. I don't think Tony Pollard's gonna be very good. And I think they gave that the Titans aren't going to be very good this year. So I think they developed their new players. And Tajay Spears, I think, is going to be very underrated this year.
yeah, that offense, like, it could really be anything. I mean, Will Levis has a ton of upside, but
hmm
also he had some games last year where he looked terrible.
Yeah, yeah,
So I don't know. I think Tajay could. I don't know. I'm not the biggest Tajay fan, but you know,
that's
I know
fair.
Spurbs is, and I mean, if you're high on him, I mean, I'm gonna trust you. Let's go like Snake. So you give two, and then I'll give
Okay.
two.
My number two is Zach Moss.
Hmm.
Last year when he was in the starting role with the Colts, when JT was out, he did really well. He actually carried my team for a couple weeks there,
Oh, you had him last year.
for a little bit,
I know Harry has him this year.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, he's at the Bengals. It's not as good as an O-line, but I still think that he could succeed in that offense with Joe Burrow slinging the rock.
Yeah, I know. So this is Chase Brown.
Yeah, yeah,
I've heard that Zach Moss and Chase Brown are probably going to be split in time.
yeah,
However, I think like Zach Moss has already proven himself, and I really have no idea what
exactly.
Chase Brown has done. So I mean, I like it. Um, I mean, like you said, he did. I feel like he did really well last year when he did
He,
play.
he did.
Also, wasn't the Colts O line like kind of bad last year?
Yeah, usually they've recent years
They
they've been really good, but last
good,
year they
yeah.
really underperformed. And
Yeah,
while you give yours, I'm gonna go look up Zach Moss last year.
yeah. All right. So my second guy is J.K. Dobbins. Now I know he is playing with one leg, and I know he is very injury prone. However, Um, 2 years ago, J.K. Dobbins was really good.
That is true.
Um, and the Chargers don't really have a goal in mind for this year. I mean, I think it's kind of a transition year with coaching. I mean, obviously Herbert's still there, but this is not the only Chargers guy I'm gonna have on my list. J.K. Dobbins and then one other player. But I think J.K. Dobbins has a fairly high ceiling, given that it's him and Gus Edwards, and I mean Gus Edwards is pretty much at this point of his career just a goal line back.
Yeah.
So what you got on Zach Moss?
So when JT was holding out for week, I think it was till week 8, he averaged, what I'm looking, 20, 25. He had a 9-point game, then a 36, 17. So he's
36?
36. Yep, it was against the Titans. So, and it looks like he's a receiving back because he didn't have much like rushing. It was all, oh, wait, never mind, never mind, never mind. I'm looking, okay. All right, never mind. He is a very good receiving back. I'm looking at it backwards.
Mm.
But yeah, he was very, very serviceable when he was playing. And then when JT came back, he didn't really do much.
I knew he was good. I didn't know he was that good. He must have won you a few games, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
I remember vividly driving home from a baseball tournament and watching Zach Moss put up 36.
Really, dude.
Yep.
I know like people have probably seen like this Instagram video, like TikTok. It's like you have 10 assignments due on a Sunday night, but you need your defense to squeak out 8 points for you.
Yep.
So you're just
Yep.
watching it. All right, so my final running back, feed Zeke, baby. Look, the Cowboys have the best offense. I don't know why the thing with Tony Pollard didn't work last year. I really don't know. That was a weird thing. Um, but yeah, Zeke's getting older. But, he's back where it all started, and I'm kind of rooting for the guy, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And Zeke, I don't think like nobody's talking. Zeke is gonna be like pivotal on goal line
Oh, yeah.
situations. Like he's gonna get every touch.
And I mean,
And
no disrespect to Rico Dowdle, but
yeah, I didn't know who he was a couple like actually 2 days ago. So I
yeah.
didn't know who Rico Dowdle was. So my last running back was Zeke's former teammate, Ramondre Stevenson. Now he's not a sleeper, but he's on your team. I saw that. Uh, he's not a sleeper, but he was injury a little bit last year, so nobody's really talking about him. I think he's gonna have a big year with the Pats offense because they don't have any receivers over there.
Yeah, and the thing is, I did not know how good Ramondre was
I know.
two
Oh
years
my
ago.
God.
I
Yeah.
looked at the stats, I was like, God damn.
Yeah.
But he was doing all right last year until he got hurt. He was doing okay last year until he got hurt. But then
Yeah.
again, their offense last year was so dysfunctional.
Oh my God, it was
Like
so bad.
this year at least they have a competent quarterback, hopefully, that can
Yep.
kind of like alleviate some of the pressure on the ground game and hopefully air it out some. Um, so that's all for the running backs, right? Move on to wide
Yep.
receivers.
Yep. That's all I got.
All right, I went first for running back. You go ahead for wide receiver.
So I'm gonna start from the bottom up, because I really like my number one, and you're gonna like him too. So my number three, shout out Gage, Lad McConkey,
Mm-hmm.
lot of high
Okay, I see
motor.
where you're going with this.
He's wide receiver one on a, I would you call it an air raid? I feel like the Chargers throw the ball a lot.
Not with
Although,
Harbaugh. Not with
yeah, yeah,
Harbaugh.
you're right. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that.
Mm.
But either
They
way, I
still have
think,
Herbert though. They're gonna be throwing the
yeah,
ball. So
yeah. Like who that I can't name the second receiver for them.
they have. Actually, I'll use this as a transition. Sorry to cut you short, but I have Josh Palmer as my first guy.
Ah,
So
okay.
I mean we're on the same page here, but I mean Justin Herbert still is one of the
Yeah,
best talents in the league,
yeah.
and I mean like you said, it's really just Josh Palmer, even though you didn't know who Josh Palmer. I mean you know who he is, but you didn't
I
know
know
who
I know
Palmer
the
was.
name. I just
Yeah,
forgot he was still. I thought they got rid of everybody.
yeah, and then Lad McConkey. It's really just those two in the passing game.
Have
So I
they
mean he
announced
could be good.
have they announced wide receiver one, or they're still battling it out?
I'm not sure. I haven't done that much
Good point. I don't think
into it.
anybody pays attention to
Yeah,
the Chargers.
sorry, Chargers fans, but anyway.
Yeah, all
Um,
7 of you.
yikes. Yikes.
Yeah.
Imagine being a Chargers fan and a Clippers fan.
I mean that one lady at the Chargers games that goes crazy for everything. You ever seen her?
Oh yeah, I have yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Anyway,
All right, I'll give my second wide receiver. I have D-Hop. Um
like him.
D-Hop, like I kind of fell into this boat last year and then he wound up being pretty good last year. I think he eclipsed 1,000 yards. I feel like D-Hop is washed, But then I like think about it, and he's obviously not, Texans DeAndre Hopkins making all these crazy catches, but he still has spectacular catch ability. But he's just getting up there. And I mean, like I said, Will Levis has a wide variety of outcomes. So I mean,
Mhm.
and D-Hop is, a vet that has gotten the job done in the past. So that's why I like the ceiling on D-Hop.
Yeah. So my second receiver is Amari Cooper. He had one of the best
Coop.
ends to the season last year. I think he had multiple 50-point games, if
Him
I'm
and
not mistaken.
Njoku went
Yes.
crazy at the end of last year.
And that was with Deshaun Watson. So before that, I don't know how he did, but when Deshaun Watson came back,
Yeah.
I mean, he was unreal. So I think he will do very well this year. Um, and I don't know who has him, but whoever does, that's a sleeper.
Maybe Tyler? I'm not sure. Um, all right, go ahead, give your final one.
So my final one, and Connor, as I said, you're gonna like this one a lot. I have Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Woo, Jigba.
I think that Tyler Lockett is. I think this is Tyler Lockett's last year. That dude is old as dirt,
Yeah, he's on his deathbed.
and yeah, and I think and Jigba could be similar to what the 49. Not okay. I'm not just disclaimer. This is not exactly what I think is going to be,
I
but I
gotcha.
think he could be similar to how the Niners use Ayuk. He's not going to be better than Ayuk, but he's going to be similar as how they use them. I think
Mhm.
if that offense is any good, their O line's god awful. So I don't know.
Their O-line is god awful, but yeah, I really do like Jigba. Last year I had him, and I feel like in Jigba, or I feel like Romo Dunze rather is going to kind of fit into that same spot as Jigba did last year.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? How like now Jigba, I feel like this year could be different, but last year he was, the wide receiver three. He was
yeah,
definitely behind DK, and then he was behind Lockett, and he had one pretty good game for me. Remember, he made that crazy catch against
yes.
the
Oh my
Eagles.
God, unreal.
Um, so I mean, I do like the Jigba pick because he's going to take a step up, and he definitely should be the wide receiver too behind DK.
No doubt.
Yeah, and I mean Gino's still a pretty damn good quarterback somehow, but
Yeah.
all
I mean,
right.
I don't really understand why people are saying the Seahawks can be so bad. They have the same exact team.
Yeah, they're gonna be okay. Like
Their O line's
seven.
terrible, but I mean, they're not going to be the worst team in the league. Like I've seen somebody say that they're going to win 3 games, and that team's just not going to win 3 games.
No, they're gonna get 7 or 8 wins.
Yes.
Definitely. 6 to 8, I feel. They're not gonna be the worst at all.
No.
And six is probably selling a little too short. My last receiver, I have Rashee Rice. I mean, the only thing that's kind of holding him back is the suspension
Yeah.
doubt. But I mean, if you think about it logically, he was a rookie last year and he put up good numbers. He's going into his sophomore year with a better offense. It's going to take some
Mhm.
more pressure off of him. I mean, like he has the two. Like I feel like he could wind up being a top 15 wide receiver, like
Yeah.
fantasy wise. But because like,
Uh,
yeah, they have Hollywood Brown. He's hurt. They have Xavier Worthy. He's a deep threat. They're
yeah.
obviously going to have to. The defenses are going to have to attend to his, deep threat
Hmm.
ability. So I mean, I feel like Rashee Rice lining up in the slot could just eat up some targets.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think uh Rasheed Rice, even if he's technically wide receiver one, he's wide receiver two because Kelsey's really the
Yeah,
number
you're
one.
right.
And I think when Marquise Brown gets healthy, I think he will slide ahead of him. So that I think
Yeah,
Rasheed Rice will be good, but
1A, one
we'll
B.
see. Yeah, that's actually perfect.
Mm. All right, you want to move on to let's get tight ends out the way real quick, and then we can move to QBs.
Okay.
All right, I'll go first for tight end. So I only have one tight end, and it's Kyle Pitts. I mean, it's kind of, obvious why I have Kyle Pitts. New quarterback, better offense, new play caller. It's really just a complete makeover for Kyle Pitts. And him and Drake London are really in the same boat. High draft picks haven't really panned
Hmm.
out yet. But that could also be testament to poor coaching and just bad
Yeah.
quarterback play. So I think Kyle Pitts will be pretty good this year.
So I actually had three tight ends. Connor, you know one of mine if you want to just say the one that I told you about, so we can
Uh,
back it out.
oh yeah, Jake Munt.
Yeah, or Johnny Munt.
Johnny Munt, sorry. I don't know
Uh,
his first name. I just know it's Jay Munt.
yeah. The only reason I put him is because Hawkinson might be hurt.
I doubt you're listening, but shout out Bunch real quick. He has him.
Yeah, Bunch is not listening, but shout out Bunch. But no, my first tight end is Brock Bowers. That offense is going to be atrocious. So I think Gardner Minshew and him are going to be best friends.
Yeah.
Another shout out to Grant Sperber. He's got the all rookie team.
Spurl.
Uh, yeah, I think he could be just a security blanket for Gardner Minshew.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
wait.
agree.
Hold on. They have Devontae Adams. I completely forgot. That's on me. That's on me. I forgot that Devontae Adams was
Well,
existed.
I mean, he's still
He's
gonna
old.
eat
He
up some
struggled. He struggled last year, but I think Devontae Adams is gonna like attract the defense to him, and Brock Bowers is gonna feast on that.
yeah. I mean, Devontae's still gonna get a ton of work, but I
Yeah,
mean, you can't throw it to one person the whole game.
right. Well, I mean, you'd be surprised. 2019, Michael Thomas.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, don't
Uh,
disrespect Traquan.
anyway, um, so
Mikey.
my second tight end, this might be a very, very, very hot take, but it's Cole Kmet, even though he's going
Wow.
to be
Interesting.
uh
I
the
don't know how I feel about
probable
that.
probable fourth option.
Yeah.
Uh, he
Fifth.
no. Hey. I think he could
No, no.
be a, a s- Caleb Williams. That could be his security blanket. Like I said with Brock
Rookie
Bowers,
quarterback, yeah.
a little less tight end. Rookie quarterbacks and tight ends are best friends.
Are you
Um,
saying we should go after Mo Alley Cox?
Absolutely not, because we don't have a rookie quarterback.
No, or I was talking about just like fantasy owners should go after Mo Alley Cox because Anthony
Is he?
Richardson's basically still a rookie, and so
Yeah.
are the
Is he
Colts.
still in the league?
I
Oh
think
well,
he
that,
is. Not
who's the
100% sure.
who's the player that's like in his? I think he's 40 years old this year. Can't think of who it is.
In the NFL?
Yeah, he's like it's like his 21st season or something.
I have no idea. I had no
Anyway,
idea it was a dude that old.
anyway.
Anyway.
But yeah, Cole Kmet, that's probably the one that I'm least confident about, but he could surprise some people.
Uh, is that it?
That's it. Yeah.
Okay. All right, on to the quarterbacks. I'll start this one off. I'm not sure if you have this written down, but I bet you probably do. It's Jane Daniels. I
I
mean,
actually I don't.
you
I try to
don't.
stay away from him because I just out of bias and
Yeah. No,
homerism.
I hear you. But I mean the rushing potential with him just I
Yeah.
mean, fantasy owners should be salivating at that. Um, I mean he still has some competent receivers. I mean the
hmm
I was about to say the Skins. The Commanders just traded away Jahan Dotson, but I mean they still have
I
Terry
saw that.
McLaurin. Um, so I mean they still have some playmakers on the team. I mean they're gonna have Brian Robertson and Eckler, but I really do like Jane Daniels this year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Jane Daniels, I think he's going to be the best rookie quarterback out of them all. So I wanted to kind of stay away from him. But
Yeah.
I, the technical rookie, as you just said a few minutes ago, my third quarterback is Anthony Richardson.
Mhm.
I know he's considered a pretty good fantasy quarterback, but I feel like he's not getting talked about as much. Uh, I Now that I'm saying this out loud, I don't think this is a very bad pick for a sleeper because he's going to be a top 10 fantasy quarterback.
Uh,
But I'll just move on. That was a bad pick, and I apologize.
well,
Uh,
I mean, thing is about Anthony Richardson, he is so like I don't know if you saw this, but a report came out that he looked completely lost in a joint practice with the Bengals. Like the Bengals players were saying they were sad, like because they didn't get enough work because he looked so bad.
that scares me a little bit because in a different league, I have him as my quarterback. So
Yeah. So I mean, I saw that. I was watching um some on NBC and they said that like the Bengals players were like disappointed at how bad he was because like they didn't
yeah.
get anything out of it. But
Well, I mean, he was out for a while last year, and I don't really buy into the he's not very good in practice because I remember Jamar Chase's rookie season where everybody was dogging on him for not being able to catch the ball, and he had one of the best rookie seasons we've seen in a while for
yeah.
a receiver. So
Mm. All right. Um, so I'll give my second one. I got Kyler Murray. I
mm,
mean, in 2021, halfway through the year, he was the MVP favorite.
Yeah.
And, he's got some injuries, some rumors floating around that he likes Call of Duty more than football. But, I mean, the dude, he's like, think about it. He has a cannon for an arm. He
Yeah.
was drafted to play baseball. He's mobile as hell. And, I mean, he's accurate. The dude's accurate. Like,
And he's got a
and he
real,
has Marvin.
yeah, he has a solidified R wide receiver one this year.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the stars are aligning for Kyler to be a pretty good fantasy quarterback this year. And then my last quarterback is I'm gonna get some heat for it. Anyway, give you a second with Jidge.
Oh. My second one is Baker. Uh, if you look, I don't, if you look last year, pretty sure he ended the season pretty well, and I picked him up for a game or two, and he did really well. I mean, nobody's probably gonna talk about him because he doesn't really have the mobile ability, except when he plays the Saints, of
Yeah.
course.
Everybody when they play the
Um,
Saints.
yeah, but I do think he's gonna have a good year this year with a better offense. Even though they lost their OC, which I think will hurt, but I think Baker, I'm pretty high on Baker.
I like it. All right, my last one. Hear me out. It's Justin Fields. Hear me out. Hear me out. I know he's been
Wow.
terrible for the Steelers so far.
That's not
However,
even what I. That's not the first thing that came. Is he even gonna start?
no, he might not start. He probably won't start. However, Russell
Wow.
Wilson is the starting quarterback, and he will get benched. He is destined to get benched. So, Justin Fields, he will return to the 2022 Justin Fields that fantasy managers know and love. Justin Fields, that would rush for 150 yards a game and throw for 150 yards a game while getting you 25 fantasy points. Justin Fields, that will happen by week 8. Mark my
I
words.
love it. I love it. I love it. Uh, that's when you kind of stow away on your bench, and
Yeah.
if he does, if Russell Wilson gets benched, then you have a, a bona fide sleeper. That's what this is about. I really like that pick actually. If you look
Woo!
at when he came back from injury, he was really good that
Really?
last year. He had 24, 10, 24, 24, 25. Like he was really good.
I can't believe he went to Pittsburgh anyway. But
Yeah, they Bears did him so dirty. They didn't get anything, any weapons for him, but they got everything that Caleb Williams wanted.
yeah.
But anyway,
Anyway.
and my last, I've been waiting for this the whole episode. This guy gave us some sleepers in class today. My last sleeper quarterback. Shout out Alec Poe. It's Bo Nix.
What up, Poe?
I love it. When he said that, I was like, just, this cat, he knows ball because
Mhm.
Bo Nix has been balling in practice in preseason,
Yeah,
and he just got named the wide receiver one. Jesus, the quarterback one.
saw that.
He's feeling it in a Sean Payton offense. I don't know,
Yeah, he
but
has potential. You're damn
I
right.
think I think he I think the Broncos are gonna be terrible, but I think he could be really really good. He will be their future.
Yeah. All right. Don't hate the take. All right, so now those are all of our sleepers, if you will. We're gonna show you guys our fantasy teams.
Uh,
And
yeah.
so
While Connor pulls that up, I'm gonna give you. Alec had two other takes. He said, and I quote, "Let Jettas fall."
whoa,
That Justin Jefferson, obviously. Um, I don't hate it. He's quarterback is Samuel Darnold. The guy gets hurt in week 5 every single year. So I mean,
Darnold?
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And,
Yeah.
and I think in our league he dropped to number 7, and in my other league he dropped to number 8, which is insane considering he was the number 1 player last year. But
2 years
I
ago.
don't know. You're right. You're right. You're right. And then his other pick, which don't hate it, but I think that this whole offense is gonna be unreal, is Stephon Diggs is overhyped. Um, I could see a AJ Brown to the Cardinals, not AJ Brown, AJ Green to the Cardinals type. I got my colors mixed up. To the Cardinals type of thing, where he's just stashed behind two young receivers
Uh-huh.
and he can't really do anything. But I don't know. I think that whole offense is gonna be ridiculous.
Mhm.
But yeah, shout out Alec.
Shout out, Puff. I'll see you in English class tomorrow. Happy Friday, by the way. Um, all right. So this is my team, Pacheco Party. Shout out, Isaiah Pacheco, favorite player. Look right here, got the sports card. Um,
Man,
so for the record, I know my team is mid. Okay, I have a 14-man team, or I'm in a 14-man league. I know my team is mid. However, I will go to war for these guys. I have an attachment to almost every single one of these players.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, so ultimately, I just really like these guys, even though I know my team is mid. Tua.
I mean,
Okay, so
realistically, everybody in a 14-man league, nobody's really going to stand out.
yeah, I know, but like
Everybody,
I'm just talking like
yeah.
about like I'll
But this is
probably say I'm like 9 to 7
yeah.
in
As
this
long as
league.
you're not last, that's all. That's my motto. If I'm not first, I just can't be last. Okay.
Don't matter exactly.
As long as I'm not doing that punishment, I'm fine.
Yeah. All right. So kicking it off with my quarterback, I have Tua. So Tua, he obviously has a passing upside. We know that. He led the league in passing, but last year. But obviously he is not the most mobile. I mean, he can, pick up some yards on his feet, but he still has Tyreek Hill, he still has Jalen Waddle, and he still has those dynamic running backs in Mostert and A-Chain. So Tua definitely does have the tools to be a good
Mhm.
fantasy quarterback, even though he's not projected to be one. And if you're wondering what my tie to Tua is, I simply have a Tua jersey, and I like his name. Now on to my running back, Isaiah Pacheco. I already said that. I think Isaiah Pacheco could wind up as a top 5 fantasy running back this year. Um, Ramondre Stevenson, I really don't know how to feel about Ramondre Stevenson. I was a fan of his at Oklahoma. I told Brock that the other day. Um, I like we said earlier in the pod, he was good 2 years ago. Kind of suffered or struggled last year just with injury, but I'm obviously hoping he bounces back. Next I have Olave. We're Saints fans. We would die for the Saints. Olave is the wide receiver one. Olave also, I think, is in for a big year. So my next wide receiver is DJ Moore. They Chicago added Keenan Allen and um DeAndre Swift and Odunze.
Mhm.
Um, but I mean DJ Moore's I like to think he's still gonna get his, but I don't
Yeah.
really know. What do you think about DJ Moore in that offense?
Um, I think he's still going to be their solidified number one. I think that's going to be where Caleb Williams looks
I
most of
hope.
the time. I think Keenan Allen just going to be the vet that I mean he's still going to be good. Don't get me wrong, but I
Yeah,
think he's really there just to mentor the other two. And I don't think Odunze is going to do much this year. I remember watching a preseason game and they were saying basically like he's just going to be used for big plays, like pretty much big plays only.
yeah,
Like he like the post that pops for 60 yards, stuff like
yeah.
that. So,
Boomer
I mean, we'll
bust.
see. We'll see. That offense is going to be pretty good. I think the
Yeah,
Bears are a sleeper team
think
this
they
year.
could be really good. Exactly. And if you want to know our predictions for the Bears game, quick plug here. Stay for the or tune back in a couple days when me, Sam, and this special guest do our season predictions. Um okay, next to my tight end. Or okay, DJ Moore, I had him on my team last year. I traded for him mid-year and he wound up being really good for me. And me and shout out Sean Gardner. I know you're a big DJ Moore fan. Next I have Njoku. I picked him up midway through last year. He was really good for me when Joe Flacco took over. Um, and also, the dude's just a dog. Like, I mean, he survived a house fire and had burns all over his face, and he
Hmm.
still played through it. You remember that? He
Yeah,
looked like
that was
a
crazy.
beast, bro.
He showed up with like the Michael Myers mask, and he
Oh
like,
my God, he looked like a
yeah,
monster. That day, I knew I was like, okay, I'm good. He's got me for my fantasy team.
yeah,
And then I got Terry McLaurin for my flex. Um, my rationale for this pick was that he's just going to be flooded with targets
yeah.
because I mean, there's nobody really else
Especially
out
they
there.
they just traded Jahan Dotson,
Yeah, they
so
traded their wide receiver too. So I mean, he he honestly could have a pretty big year. But that's the homer in me coming out. But yeah, so that's pretty much my team. I mean, my defense and my kicker is self-explanatory, or my
that is
defense is self-explanatory.
that is crazy that a defense is projected 8.
I saw the Vikings are projected like 9, but they're playing the Giants. All right, we gotta kind of boogie because the pot or we only have 10 minutes left because we're
All
not
right,
bougie and we can't afford the
yep,
Zoom Plus. All right,
it's all
here's a
good,
team,
all good.
Judge. Walk me through it.
All right, so should I go by like when I drafted him or just go top to bottom?
Just top to bottom.
Okay, so my quarterback, Lamar, I think I snagged him in like the fourth round. That was I mean, you can't go wrong with Lamar. The rushing ability is unreal, and he's got more
Yeah,
weapons this year. With a better offense, I think he's going to do really well.
I had Lamar
Uh,
last year. Shout him out.
yeah. My RB1 is Kenneth Walker. Shout out Bunch. No, you're not watching, but shout out Bunch. He was good last year
Michigan
until he,
State, right?
yeah, yeah. Well, Wake Forest and Michigan State.
Okay,
So K9, I think he's going to do really well this year. I hope he'll do
I'm with
really
you.
well this year because, as you can see, my RB2 is not ideal with Najee Harris, even though he's your sleeper.
Yeah, he could be good.
Um,
I think he could be
I'm
good.
glad you're confident in him because I just, after watching him last year, I don't have any confidence in him.
I hear you.
Um, but yeah,
Oh wait,
that's
you're spinning it back with Najee?
yeah,
Oh, look at that.
yeah. Um, yeah, we'll see. I mean, in the 14-man league, you're gonna have some bums in your team.
Some question
Sorry.
marks, yeah.
My first round pick was Amon Ra. I'm really happy, even though he doesn't like the Saints too much and he kind of disrespected us a little bit. I couldn't say no to him. Okay, he's just he's a stud.
Yeah. All
I
right.
mean,
Real quick, hate to interrupt you, but this is the pod of shouting everybody out. Shout out Tyler. We both feel the same way about Amon-Ra. We used to love him, and now we
yeah,
just don't because he's a cornball. But he's
yeah,
really good. Can't deny that.
he's slowly turning into the Russell Wilson of wide receivers. Not in play. I'm talking about just
The
corner.
Noah Lyles of athletes.
That's a way better. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot better. So anyway, my next one, another shout out to Grant Sperber. He's getting a lot of love this episode. Tank Dell, I think he could be. I think when you look up in week 9, week 10, he could be wide receiver one for the Texans, and that's not just me being biased to my team, but I think he's gonna be a stud. He was CJ Stroud's favorite target before he got hurt, and I think he's due for a good year. So my tight end, can't go wrong with Travis Kelce. He's the best tight end in the league.
Cannot. Nope.
Nothing much else to say there.
Yep.
And this next player is easily the worst on my team, in my opinion, Jordan Addison, with the suspension probably coming his way.
It's
And he
like
got,
Jordan Addison. I think this is the best way to describe it. It's just like a gray cloud is kind of just looming
yeah,
over his
yeah,
head with that suspension,
yep.
and it's just ready to strike down on him.
Yeah, it's kind of how we felt with Camaro. Was that
Yeah.
last year?
Uh-huh.
So I'm hoping the suspension keep getting delayed to next year, like it did with Camaro. But um, yeah. So my defense and kicker is self-explanatory.
Yeah. Ooh, got the Chiefs playing. Got the Ravens playing the Chiefs. Oh, Ginger, he sent me a trade proposal. It was Tank Dell, Najee Harris, and Xavier Worthy for Ramondre, Terry, and Deontay Johnson. I declined it just because,
Yeah,
like I said,
yeah,
I'd go to war for my guys. But it's not a terrible trade. I don't hate it.
yeah.
You
For
could
those watching
leave
at
your two
home,
cents in the comments, even though I know
for
nobody
those
will.
watching, for those watching at home, Connor is probably the hardest person to trade with. I think that's a consensus. He does not
What?
throw. You stick to your guys and you don't leave them. A lot of people
Except for
think,
Eckler. Sorry, Eckler. I traded
okay.
Eckler for Deontay Johnson.
Case in point, he traded a wide receiver, a running back two for the Commanders. That's the only one he'll get rid of.
Yeah, sorry.
So,
But
uh,
I'm gonna stick with my guys. That's what I
yeah,
told them on
yeah.
draft day. I mean,
So
anyway.
my takeaway from my team, a lot of star power, but bye weeks are gonna kill me because my
Yeah.
bench is
For
atrocious.
everybody though, they're gonna kill everybody. And injuries. There's gonna be one team in the league that's just gonna be severely plagued with injuries. And whoever that
Hmm.
is, unfortunately, will probably wind up in the kennel.
Yeah.
Why are you smiling like that?
I don't know.
Who
It's not
got you smiling like that?
Shut up. It's not you. I have some guests in the room right now that are really annoying.
Is it Cole?
No, it's Lil Ginge. He's actually right there.
Hey, little Ginge.
And him.
That's the one that looks like Cole.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Well, I guess that'll do it. We're not gonna end it with Sam and CD, CD and Sam, just because Sam's not here. So, anyway, if you made it this far, thanks for listening.
Yep.
Um, and I'm not gonna say cue the outro, but
Shout out
Ginge, it
shout out
was an
shout
what?
out Sam. One more time. Shout out Sam.
Yeah, Sam,
You were missed this
Poe,
episode. Shout out
Everybody
Pro.
who got a shout out throughout
Yeah.
this episode, thank you
Shout out
for
Sports
just
Analysis
being
Club.
instrumental in our life. Yeah. Uh, Sports Analysis Club, Brock shouted us out. Hopefully you're
Meeting one.
listening.
I
Was
I think we might have a couple.
hopefully. Um, all right, yeah. Once again, thank you, Brock, for coming on, and that'll do it. Peace.
See ya.